What is going on? There we are. This is Lack of Lepers, aka SCPCRNP. Thank you for joining me tonight. Testing of the microphone. Sloppy cheese. There we go. Hope you're doing well. It is 7:30 and it is a weeknight, so you know what time it is. Time to get this rolling. Time to go on down. So we should, I think, finish this YurtKast episode 1, and all in all, a surprising experience, I would say. Not really what I was expecting, but I don't know if you can expect, can really be expecting the correctness for this this crew right here, the Yurt Bois. Still waiting on their album to drop, so I heard it's gonna be sort of like NSYNC or like the Backstreet Boys, something like that. I don't know. I've heard really good things though. So we basically finished at the 1 hour 10
it goes along
around there. So we're going to pick it up and let's see how they carry out episode 1. 910 views, 58 likes. Damn. Of course, YouTube doesn't let us know how many dislikes there are, but I bet it's very few.
It's like blending.
It's thematically appropriate.
Next one is Aurea and Rounder.
Aurea is such a not good GOI. It is like accurate.
I remember this from last time. Hold on.
Oh man.
Please link it in the chat.
Yeah, link it.
Okay, so this one's gonna be hard because I don't like this GOI at all.
I mean, nobody likes the GOI. It's like this bad caricature of like Middle Eastern religion.
Caricature.
Awesome.
We already talked about caricature.
Hey, we're pretty even so far on all the cats.
All right, I think we had just actually, if I remember correctly, it was nice and symmetric. We had just had no need for physical. There it
I have
is.
no physical need then.
So we're all rounded about.
I disagree.
Rounded
but I'm
out
not gonna
here.
Speak my mind.
Oh God, why?
Well, because like I can't wrap my head around this concept. Because like the collective.
There's a reason nobody has posted an article for it in like a year.
Which one is this?
That's also.
Sorry, I went too far.
I just.
But I like it better if it just.
Flat, straight, equal.
You just want to balance it out.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I also am no, because we have nobody, so technically it won't be equal anyway.
We don't have to balance it out. I like it better if it's disproportionate.
But I agree though, it has no physical need. Like
Yeah, okay. We have no physical need then.
yeah.
Okay, here we are.
I disagree, but I'm not gonna speak my mind.
Oh God, why?
Great music.
Well, because like I can't wrap my head around this concept. Because like the collective.
There's a reason nobody has posted an article for it in like a year.
That's also true. But the collective is human people, and human people are having dreams, and human people have
they're still
sex,
talking about the
so
owner
there might
Roy.
be sex in the dreams. So
I
what
think
if
this is another
I
nobody
definitely think
situation.
that. Okay, no, I'm not arguing that. I definitely think.
I mean,
there's
look,
sex in the
dreams-
I just think that if it's in the dreams, it's no physical.
We've all had that
Physical,
dream,
yeah.
haven't we?
Unless you're like having a really good time while you're asleep.
No, not even then, you weirdo. What the fuck are you talking about? You gonna sleepwalk sex like your brother? No.
No, but
What?
I'm not gonna answer that. No, I'm not.
Weird.
No, I've had some weird times. Anyway, what's the next one?
This
Yeah, let's
podcast
move
is
on.
Just like watching Jack dig himself into a hole, like deeper.
Yeah, really, that's a good
every
way to put
passing
this.
minute. It's great.
It's
So
great.
many
It's
gaps
very
from
good.
this guy.
Watch his neck. We all
I used to think that like the Yurt and Neo Law Foundation kind of stuff. I used to think they were like trying really hard to be like plinky all the time, but I think it's actually a pretty true representation of the character. Like JakdragonX is kind of like, he's like a gaff master, and that's kind of how he writes. So I don't know.
Parawatch.
Parawatch is
no.
a online message board.
Actually, I'm gonna say
Oh, I
Parawatch is
like
Jack.
Parawatch. Parawatch is pretty
Jack, I was
cool.
gonna say.
Here. I'm going to present something. This is might be seen as controversial. They're conspiracy theorists, right? During the
Parawatch?
pre-show,
Yeah, they
Jack
are.
was talking about how his father was a conspiracy theorist.
That's right.
Oh
Fucks.
no!
Let me just, like,
Oh
let me just tell you.
no!
Had to have done.
All right, so let's get down to business before they do. So Parawatch. Parawatch is, sort of like they're like conspiracy theorists, like they just said. And I don't think they're going to have sex because they're just glued to their screen the whole time. I mean, how else do you get involved in conspiracy theories? Is you're online too much? It's the same question as, how you could be, sort of into things like do it your own mustard, you know, and then to a larger, you know, to some extent, how you can get into containment fiction. I think, you know, that's pretty valid too. I often kind of think it's real funny how, you know, the magazine that I have online is doomed commercially, and it's because it's such an obscure, you know, sub niche thing, you know, that you gotta like, yeah, you gotta be on the internet a lot anyway. You know what I'm saying? To come across this stuff in any deep fashion, and then of course the magazine takes it like just like an absurd amount of depth, I think. And so you know, the analogy that I often give for like, you know, for that would be if there was an online magazine about hat news, you know, like hat, like you wear, like hat news, like global hat news. You know, no one is going to be interested in global hat news. You might have some like interest in global hat news, but it would be professionally and by diffusion, just like you're employed at, you know, Lids in the mall or something like that. So that's the only time anybody would ever care about global hat news, like the latest news in hats, like what's coming out, who put out a new hat. You know, it's not gonna work. So it's really the same thing with the Parawatch people. That's my whole. That wasn't a tangent. I can. If you can connect back to where you started the tangent, it's not really a tangent. It's just a roundabout. But yeah, so that's really the same thing with the Parawatch people, is that they're on the internet too much. They're like completely absorbed in, you know, reading declassified documents, and you know, looking at like food prep, you know, learning how to prep. And these guys, anomalous. I mean, come on, they're like as bad as the UFO crew, you know, the UFO gang. Let's see what they say.
That he does in fact fuck.
To have Jack, and then to have Jack's brother.
No, I wasn't. No, hang on. That's not my dad. That's my stepdad.
Stepdad.
But he does fuck. I have seen. No.
Thanks for telling us, buddy.
We have seen.
Oh, he's your dad.
You don't have to tell us. We were there, buddy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wow, you really?
I think that was like somewhere in there was an attempted your mom joke, but it ended up being like it was either a threesome joke with this guy's dad, which is, I mean, I guess you could do the same, like a your mom joke if you're gay. Like, wouldn't it be your dad? Like a your dad joke? Like, wouldn't that be a thing? Like, why? You know, I'm just saying, like, you know, equality and all this. I mean, like, isn't the gay equivalent of a your mom joke a your dad joke? You know, I think maybe so. Maybe that's what he's getting at, which is fine, which is cool. Yeah. But if you tried to make that a your mom joke, I don't know, that either it's like a weird threesome or like a cuck kind of situation where the dude was like, he's like watching. Never mind.
Recorded. I just want to remind you guys.
Just didn't work well.
Of that.
They don't know who I am. We're good.
I do now.
I
Okay.
kind of want to.
Get his mom getting railed.
I kind of want to agree with Plague, but Parawatch, for anyone who doesn't know, is a message board.
Oh, it moves around when I move it.
That
Oh, hold on.
researches paranormal things. They're kind of like the
Oof,
like
I can move this
4chan's
around.
X board, paranormal.
Yeah.
That's what they're based.
Which everybody has. Everybody in containment fiction has lineage with 4chan, with X. I mean, there's only one community in the, you know, containment fiction constellation that didn't come from 4chan. And even then, I'm not even sure. I mean, they might have. That one exception is Liminal Archives, but SCP, I mean, the holders, obviously, SCP, RPC actually came from 4chan, and then Backrooms actually came from 4chan. X, all from X, every single one. So, you know, I think paranormal is just, it speaks to the spiritual nature, the core sort of like vibe and identity. This is why a few episodes at the beginning of this series, I was talking, like they were talking about conspiracy theories and how they're in very close proximity to to the attitude and the posture of writing containment fiction. That is for sure.
Based on. It's a vehicle for authors to write creepypasta, essentially. And I think...
And none of them are good.
Hey, shut up, Rounder.
Great
Okay,
hippo.
most of them are
Just
pretty
saying,
good.
and we were all thinking it.
Most
Nope.
of them are good. Like mine. Mine are
I
very
cherish
good.
my
Mine are
rounder down,
excellent. But
Firewatch is in Hog Slice, and Hog Slice. is-
Okay, hippos are good.
Very good
Peppers is
article.
good. None of the.
And Dune.
Okay, Stormbrets are good. None of the others are good.
I mean, hippos
Yeah,
and peppers.
yeah.
Hippos and peppers are good. That's like a truism, man. Like, I don't think they've written anything that's not great. Honestly, I mean, I'm sure they have, but I'm just saying, like,
I cherish my rounders down.
Dunes are
whatever.
pretty good. Dunes are pretty good. But my point is, like, on X, like the actual X board,
Mhm.
there's always threads up, like, how do I summon a succubus to have sex?
You're right. I have seen those actually. You're right.
these guys hang out at 4chan. Isn't that kind of like against the law of SCP? That's like what they're. That doesn't make any sense. Like, they're like SCP is constantly trying to brag about how far it's come from 4chan. Like, to be a 4chaner is like one of the most ultimate derogatory terms you could acquire at SCP. I don't understand. So you're telling me these guys go to 4chan all the time and see this shit all the time? Do the SCP police know that? They may be in trouble. Oh man, these guys are incriminating themselves on live podcasts.
Those do
Yeah,
exist.
so I'm thinking like their incel category, because
For
like
sure,
they're
man.
or desperate. I'm thinking they're desperate.
Yeah, desperate.
They want
I
demons to
think
fuck.
desperate too.
Desperate
I,
fit.
Yeah,
I'd
I guess
go
you're
with
right.
desperate. I think they have
I
like a
guess you're right.
weird like.
How do I
mind control kink or
summon?
whatever.
Yeah, how do I summon a succubus? And it's
Right.
How do
Dude,
I
you can
fuck
make a re-
Bigfoot?
like.
It's almost like they're not even incels in the sense that, like, you know, they might not even go for, you know, like the real thing. They'd rather spend time summoning.
You could make a really good Parawatch tale out of these.
Honestly, you could make a good Parawatch tale out of anything.
I mean, yeah. Did I ever tell you guys my ghost story?
That's
Tell
because Parawatch is just a second degree metaphor for the SCP Foundation. It's a second degree metaphor for containment fiction. Like I said, I mean, you have to have some intellectual sympathy, you know, some sort of like neuronal family resemblance with conspiracy theory if you're writing containment fiction in the first place. I mean, not like all the time, because I mean, some guys like these guys, at times they barely write containment fiction. You know, barely are writing it. They're basically just trying to fit other genres into the format of containment fiction so that they can, you know, because let's be honest here, people write other like fanfic and put it into SCP because that's where they think they can get upvotes. You know, I mean, you know, SCP is like the writers' college. It's like the cool. It's like the Ivy League of online fanficking. I mean, so you have people like, you know, I've read a couple of Rounderhouses where there's really no anomaly there. You know, and it's not an X. Obviously, you can have an X and it not be anomalous, but you know, other people. I hate to use names, but I got to illustrate what I mean. Harry Blank, he wrote an article recently, in this past week, really, that was really not an anomaly at all. And it was basically just like fanfic. It was basically just, you know, dialogue and whatnot. Yeah, so a lot of people just kind of take it that route and just throw it in the SCP format when it could easily be just fanfic. You know, they're not like really tailoring their writing to containment fiction, you know. They just know how to squeeze it into the containment procedures and description so that it can get on the wiki and they can get some upvotes for it, baby. And some Twitter followers is really what a lot of people are after.
Okay, I'll tell you guys after the thing. I remember Harry told me to turn into a Parawatch, and I said no. And then I sent it to
See?
Stormbreath, and I was like, if you want to turn this into a Parawatch, you know, you can have it, because I don't like writing Parawatches. Anyway, yes, you told me to as well. Dagon was also there. He can attest that the story was weird as shit.
We'll have to have a ghost story episode. Next episode, we're all going to tell our own ghost stories, because I'm sure we all have them.
Yes.
several good
No,
ghost
next
stories.
episode we're bringing Gregory on. Yes.
Ah,
Oh.
damn.
They
Well,
gotta play. Remember what we have planned for Gregory.
oh, that sucks
Yep,
ass.
yep, that's gonna be a great
Okay.
time.
I assume Prometheus is next.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah, I'm
It is
gonna.
dead.
I mean, I'm gonna watch the second episode here too. I think I mean, like I said, there's only 4, so I mean, I'm having a hard time with the microphone tonight. Sorry about that. So they said that Grigori Karpin is on the next one, and damn, that's gonna suck. But I'll probably watch it.
It is Dead Anderson Robotics. That's pretty much it.
I think that okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna. I don't.
Prometheus.
Okay. Third Law
We put
has
him in-
problems, and those problems are named Green Wolf. But the canon
My
is really
hat.
good, and
That's
my
my
hat,
fucking
my
hat.
fucking hat. It's my fucking
That's
hat.
my fucking hat.
Anyway, like overall, the canon is really good, but like I really, really like Prometheus. The hub is fantastic. All vehicles have this like delicious like vibe of like sci-fi campiness from the '90s. It's fantastic. But again, it
I really
runs
like
into
the
problem.
GOI format for them.
Damn, go get him,
Yeah,
Rounder.
again, it
Look
runs
at
into
him.
the same problem Anderson did, where it's like it's cool as hell, but like you have to face the fact that all of these are STEM majors, and like, they weren't getting any.
Mhm.
They did not have it
No,
like while they were in like college
I'm
for
gonna
like
say
6
that-
years or whatever.
I mean,
I'm gonna
Prometheus
say the
is
same
like
thing that I
Prometheus to me seems like I don't know, kind of like the Tony Starks of the containment fiction world. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony Stark, he gets it, man.
said for Anderson. I think
He's like the Elon Musk,
the STEM majors are an advantage for the
I
fucking.
think that Anderson had the benefit of experience, so they were using the sex bots for practice. Prometheus invented the sex bots and then just never gave them up.
Yeah,
He just
that's right.
never stopped using them.
So
think that's Jack
I would
level.
say I would go Jack. I would go with
Put into
Jack.
the Jack category.
Oh man.
Actually, it could be physical need. Do we
No,
count?
I
So
think
the
Jack.
idea is that
Oh no, Robbie, I'm sorry.
How y'all doing tonight?
what?
Wait, Prometheus said, thought for a second that when you said Prometheus is next, you were talking about me being the next guest star.
Oh god, no.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
We're very sorry, Prom.
We would never
Maybe-
subject you to this.
Maybe next time. But no, Prom's a good egg. We would never want to put them on blast like this.
Yes.
I'm somehow not a good egg too. Whatever.
You're not a good egg.
Yeah, I
Jack.
mean, there's actually something to be said for that, which is that you have to have the right kind of personality to like step up to the big boy table. And I'm not saying this podcast is the big boy table. I'm just saying that like, there have been people in the past. I'm actually not going to mention names here. You'll see why when I say it. But there are actually people in the past who have like had real serious criticisms about with their participation in the SCP Wiki and like all this stuff. But I never like. I mean, I would call them out, but like I would never like do that extra step, of like sending them a message that says, "Hey, like, hope you're doing okay. Just want to let you know, I'm not a fan of what you've done, and you're a public figure, and I write my congressman because he's my congressman. He's decided to be in a position of influence and political stature and makes decisions for everybody. So he has to listen to my and other people's letters that we send him, telling us what he thinks of their work. And so this is really the same thing. You're like on the staff, you're doing this, you're doing that. This is your proposal. Like, this is why this is a bad idea. Like, I never did that for a few people because I like this prom guy they're talking about. It's like I don't think that they could like even like they're so frail that if you like if you sneeze in their direction or like accidentally exhale too quickly in their vicinity, that they might crumble, And so no one who's received a PM from me on Wikidot that says, "Hey, go read this shit. I wrote about you." No one who receives those thinks that that's like a compliment. But in reality, I don't do that to people who I think, might become suicidal, for example, if I send them something. I mean, there are certainly red flags psychologically in some of these people that they demonstrate. And so if they do that, I'm going to probably not do it. If I send you a message that says, "Hey, I think you suck and here's why," take it as a compliment. I think you got enough balls or ovaries or a spine to handle the criticism, and special shout out to those people who like to do it. I mean, if you're a big proponent of critiquing other people, I mean, you got to be able to receive what you dish out, right? I mean, the same goes for me, right? So I expect that of me, and so I expect that of you. If you're gonna be out there critiquing everybody, my God, I mean, hey, you just stepped onto the field. You know what I'm saying? You just put a suit on, you put your gear on, you have a number, and you stepped onto the field. So, yeah, those are the reasons I might message you. But if you do a really bad job and you happen to be like, limp wrist, flimsy, in like just your personality, like your natural state is like a fetal position, then you might not ever hear from me.
You're a shit egg. You're a rotten egg, bro.
I'm a beautiful round
You were a
voluptuous
drop on
egg.
your head. If you were an egg, you're cracked.
You're
I was
fucking
dropped.
Humpty
I
Dumpty.
was dropped twice.
No,
There's a
Joe
really
can't
good pun in
believe he
there.
was
I was
prime
dropped in.
GOI at the second base category.
I was.
Yo, man, you
dropped-
whack.
You could say war crime genocide is that big.
Yo,
You could say
man,
that.
you a cracked egg,
That's
man.
you.
That is like the most
Shit,
jacked thing
dog.
I've heard.
You cracking. There's
You
like
don't
there's like a
understand.
No, the
derogatory
most
slur
jacked
in
thing I
there
heard was
somewhere.
him talking about how his dad was getting like mad pussy.
Why do they keep mentioning dads? This is weird.
So
This
let me
is
back on the
weird.
Prometheus Labs talk because I have a question. So Anderson,
Weird,
we
dude.
decided that they do fuck, but Prometheus is more advanced than them. Is that what you're saying? Like they're more absorbed
It's a
into their
good, it's
work?
a good point.
I would say that
I
they
think
were
they're less advanced,
they're,
if anything.
they're less advanced. They're nerdier, and therefore they can't talk to women. They're
Okay,
not.
wait,
okay,
they had
no,
to
no, I
make
got
the
it.
sex robots. They
Yeah,
had to
no, I'm
make
talking-
them.
Yes, no, specifically like okay,
Hmm.
Anderson is like tech bros, like like technology, like startup workers who are all
They're
cool
Silicon
and shit.
Valley, like
Yeah, they're
startup.
Silicon Valley like tech bros.
Oh,
Like
okay.
versus Prometheus, it's like
Yeah.
Microsoft in the 70s or Microsoft in like the 80s. It's like lame.
Okay.
There's nothing going on. They're all like sitting in their
Yeah,
little
that makes-
cubicles
that's a
with their
really
like,
good
khaki
analogy.
pants and shit. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, I had the opposite interpretation. I didn't.
I
'cause
mean,
don't read
no one's really like
Prometheus that
wrong.
much.
There's no canon. I guess.
Okay,
Interesting.
I guess there could be a point for that because it was like the 60s or whatever when Prometheus was like doing stuff. So they were all like, it's the same thing with Arcadia.
See,
They were
it's,
all like,
it's great that he knows this. Like, I don't know any of this. Like, kudos, man. This is real good. I'm real impressed. I would have rather have seen just Rounderhouse talk about GOIs, I think. But he's too much of a bro. He's too much of a bro. I also think he would be a good fit on the Simply Creative People podcast, where they kind of go through each GOI. He would be a good fit there.
doing crack and doing.
I wish it would have been him instead of Harry Blank. I mean, now I almost can't listen to Simply Creative People podcast because of Harry Blank's on there.
cocaine and like doing LSD and like having wild sex and orgies and shit.
Making a lot of money.
Yes.
All right, I'm reading the description now, and apparently Prometheus did not come directly out of Anderson, and I
That was a pun.
misunderstood that. I thought
No,
Prometheus
Anderson,
popped up.
Prometheus went under and they went bankrupt, and then Anderson came out of the wreckage.
Okay, word. All right, I'm pretty sure that you said contrary, but okay.
Okay, now
I think
this
we
raises
put them at
another
second
question.
base.
This raises another question. Do we count sex with the robots as sex?
I
Yeah,
don't
I don't-
think so. I don't think so, man. It's a robot. Like, once again, going back to the first episode. I mean, you're defining like the name of the podcast episode is ranking GOIs by how often they get it, and getting it, for a male, which is this title is something that a male would come up with. The whole idea is really, you're getting it is defined by consent. It's not defined by like a woman who can get it anytime they want, basically. So if you make it to where the robots count, that's a problem, because you're basically just like, you're taking away the game. You're taking not the game, you see. You're taking away the premise that the getting it is predicated and pegged to, going out there and actually getting it. Otherwise, it's just masturbation.
No,
are
that'd
these
be
robots?
masturbation.
No.
Come on, guys.
I don't think that's
Yes,
masturbation.
no, he's absolutely right. It's glorified masturbation. Because it's a robot. Sorry.
Depends entirely on whether the robot is like sentient or not.
Yeah, that's a good point
I
too.
wouldn't even say. I wouldn't even
Yes,
say.
I can't believe we're talking about this shit.
Yes, it only counts if they're sentient.
Is a vibrator not just a robot?
No.
It is, but it's not sentient.
Is an autonomous thing capable of performing actions independent of something working with it.
That's what autonomy is. Good job.
First of all, that's not true. Like empirically, that's not true. Second
I
of
don't
all,
know.
it implies that a Roomba is a robot, and that if
It
you
is a
have sex with a
robot.
Roomba,
It is a robot. It's just not a very, humanoid or advanced one.
that implies that if you have sex with a Roomba, you've lost your virginity, which I disagree with.
You lose your virginity to a couch cushion.
What?
Weird.
Okay, if a Roomba
Excuse
is a robot, if a Roomba is a robot, then you guys are all like accepting that. Okay, I'm not gonna question the mechanics of where you would stick it on a Roomba, but I'm just saying that.
I mean, you're the
by
one who brought it
establishing that
up.
Roomba is a robot. You were establishing that if you have sex with a Roomba, you've lost your virginity.
I think this is very specific, and Rounder may or may not have.
Odd definitions.
Roombas do not have
Odd definitions of virginity going on here.
blades.
No,
I cannot find any.
Wait, Yossi, we have Yossi here. Yossi's gonna give us
Okay.
Why has this gotten so weird at this GOI?
something.
According to my research, I cannot find any studies as to whether or not this would count as masturbation.
Whoa,
right,
no
thank you.
way.
Can you imagine a
Definitely
room
need to
like,
nuke this channel
can you
immediately.
imagine a room with fucking circular blades? Like a fucking.
Academics have weighed in.
Like a,
This is a tangent, and
lawnmower.
we're getting off track. But I just want to note that
Okay.
given the Roomba blade conversation in the chat, I want to note that I had no idea about this until recently. But like the Roomba company, like iRobot or whatever they're called, they have a Roomba, but like as a lawnmower. Like it's a gigantic Roomba. It's like 2 feet wide, and you just set it
Yeah.
on your lawn, and you just go, and it just like cuts your lawn for you, which
I mean,
think
it's such a good idea. It's such an obvious idea.
is badass.
Yeah.
So the
Pretty cool.
Roomba company is named iRobot, but they're not robots.
Yeah,
Sus.
it raises a lot of
Sussy
questions. I
Cassie.
don't think I trust them.
I'm going
Really
with
weird.
what was the original thing that I was going with? Fuck, I forgot.
Really weird conversation.
I forget. We're on such a tangent with this.
We went for the they are nerds and they.
I don't
are,
think they're desperate.
I was thinking Volcel since they're nerds. They're focused on
Okay,
their
yeah,
work.
both works.
Oof.
Yeah, I'll concede. Let's go
Wait,
with
wait,
that.
Volcel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So the next
Yeah,
one
I
up.
guess
Still
so.
can't see this
I
one,
guess
but that's
so.
fine.
Next one up is Sarkic cults. Sark is
Oh
Okay,
boy.
well this one's easy.
Oh boy.
they fuck.
Yep.
Yeah,
they
fuck.
fuck.
There's no way they
Yeah,
don't.
meat-
They're the
There's,
meat
Sarkic-
people.
There's like Sarkic
They're the
sex
meat people.
rituals and stuff.
Yeah, there are. Sorry, actually, you know what's funny is that I kind of get the vibe that it would be fuck for a totally different reason than they do. It's interesting to learn that there are actually Sarkic sex rituals. Because the reason why this is kind of colored in my opinion is because when Gabriel Jade and Escobar did their erotic role play with an underage and minor member of the community, they did it was a Sarkic fanfic. So something about that always kind of ruined. Yeah, that's a good word for it. It absolutely ruined Sarkicism for me. And not that I didn't have an introduction to Sarkicism before that, but that was just kind of, I never really got deep into it. I kind of knew what it was. I didn't even have to read, I didn't even read that much of that ERP. I just like read enough to be disgusted by, because it's on the Kiwi Farms thread. It's not highlighted, so if you go to the highlights, you'll miss it. I need to speak with whoever does highlights on that, because you need to highlight that one because it's on there, and it's what got Gabriel Jade and Escobar banned. Because if you read even a little bit of it, you're just like, oh my god, dude, absolutely not. So
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Dean Arter.
Okay, yeah, you're totally right. Sorry, yeah, fucks.
On one
Like
hand, I would like to admit that they do fuck, but on the other hand, okay, I don't want to be.
I've
the
never
old
read
guy.
anything from them.
I want to note that you guys went around here in 2018 and 2019, and in those years, everybody
I
was
was.
like, okay, this still happens now, but like, everybody who was into like mechanites and like Sarkics and stuff, like not just like into them from a wiki perspective, like really like reading about them, they were all horny. Like it was a weird correlation. If you liked Sarkics, you had a way bigger chance of being a horny weirdo.
It still exists to
Isn't it
this
like
day.
safe?
I mean, look at someone like Jackrabbit, from Twitter, and now actually she's an author too. She kind of got her start on Twitter cosplaying. Let's call it like it is, with a tremendous amount of sexualization going on in those cosplay images and stuff, and come to find out, she's a big Sarcasm fan. That's like her big thing. And once again, a lot of the individuals that we saw doing just terribly inappropriate things with members of the community, of age and not of age, all that took place in the Sarkic canon. So, there's something about the animalistic, flesh-like intonations of this GOI that just brings out a certain personality, I think. And hey, for what it's worth, I'm not into it. Okay, like I said, I never really like, people say 610 was amazing and it freaked him out. Like, I never really felt that way, but yeah, it's really strange. It's really funny. I think more than just a tier level of what GOIs go where in this sort of Axe body spray teenage adolescent setup that they have here, I think what's more interesting about this would be sort of like a character, like a psychological profiling study based on like your interests in this or that GOI. And that's kind of what we're doing here. It's kind of a little more obvious with Sarcasm, but would still be interesting.
That's about right.
They like skin. They just like
the
exactly. They
skin
like showing
people.
skin. They love it.
There's a lot of like
I'm not trying to diss on
connotations
Grigory
and-
here. I'm not trying to knock on Grigory here. I'm just saying that if you like are obsessed with a GOI that's all about like the flesh or whatever, I'm gonna raise my eyebrow at you whenever you're talking about like whether the GOI fucks or not.
I think that's fair.
They do.
Yeah, that episode that I'm talking about where Jackrabbit just like goes off on like, she just totally fangirls over a metaphysician and just goes off on like how much she loves the Sarcasm GOI. Like that's with Grigory Karpin. It's the first episode of Simply Creative People. And honestly, once again, I hate to keep bringing this up, but I would have rather seen Jackrabbit, or not seen, because I'm not a fan of cosplay with a lot of cleavage, but I would rather have heard Jackrabbit on Simply Creative People, the podcast, other than like Harry Blank, which is what we have now. But unfortunately, I think she quit. She did quit. I don't. It's not that I think. I know. She quit after one episode, citing that she couldn't do it, like time constraints, and just like she was overwhelmed. And then like a few months later, she started like her own company or something like this. Like, what is it? It's for that otherworldly TV thing. Sideshow, SCP Sideshow, something like that. So it's like, okay, I think you just got out so you can get in. But I think she does that with like her wife or something like that. I don't know. I'd be a little concerned if I was that wife. Let's not get into that.
All right.
Yeah, you're right.
I think
they
we're in
do
agreement that they do fuck, but they're
Yeah.
very weird.
Yeah, they're weird
they
about
fuck-
it.
They have weird kinks. They're like,
Yeah, they're
it's like
kinky,
the
kinky people.
kink of the anomalous,
Kinky,
Like,
kinky. I don't think I've read
Wait, so
one
that doesn't
Sarkic
imply-
article that I think is like really good.
Imply feet are like normal in the anomalous.
Yes.
Jack
Comparatively.
just felt like a weight lift off his shoulders. He's like, finally normal.
I don't have a feet kink.
It's like
This
Jack's
is
life
bad,
before.
isn't
This
it?
is like the screenshot with like the note. You are not normal.
I don't have a feet kink. I should just
We're here.
mention that.
Jack,
Thank you for telling us, Jack.
If you say so.
It's
You're welcome.
2021. You can just like
I don't
admit
like
it.
feet.
We're not
I
gonna
don't like
judge
feet.
you.
According to my research, Jack is lying.
Okay, thanks, Yossi.
According to academic studies, Jack
No
is
problem.
lying and does in fact have a foot fetish.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna have to disagree with Chad here and say that it is weird. Okay, Lizard, I'm gonna ban you.
You're gonna ban me?
I'm just gonna note that it is weird. It is
Very
weird.
weird.
I'm not going to like accept hard
Yeah.
discussion on that. Out of
We
all
kinda
the
wish
stuff
we
you
could move
read,
on
the
now.
feet are definitely like I would be like,
Come on, guys.
I don't like
Keep it
feet.
going.
That's my. That's
I think
my.
the issue is
Come on.
it's not like it's not an
They're so,
absurd.
they really
thought.
want to talk about this, don't they?
It's just like the people who are into it are very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
like,
like the people who write
if you're
Sardic
into
articles.
feet, that's fine, but don't be like licking the soles and like going in between the toes.
I know it when I see it,
Alright.
Steph.
Weird.
Like, don't be like trying to like, don't be like a Roomba trying to suck up like the dirt like that.
Oh,
You're a
man, come
Roomba.
on.
Okay, I wasn't planning on it.
It's trying too hard to be funny there.
Okay, anyway, we
So
decided
what's
this
our
podcast
agreement for
to
the
fuck.
smoker?
Trying too hard to thread together jokes. Nope.
Yeah.
They fuck.
Yeah, they fuck.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. Well, that was pretty easy, and it was pretty long for being so easy, honestly.
Super, they fuck.
I feel like aren't they just like normal people? Right?
Who's
No,
next?
they're
The
like
vegans of the
magicians
SCP
and shit.
universe.
They're like wizards who like live
Yeah,
in
they
the library.
have,
Oh, the library, yeah.
They get,
Wanderer's
like, all
library.
The pussy for like the magic tricks and shit, like doing crazy shit.
Magicians don't. When's the last time you heard even of somebody sleeping with somebody because they did a magic trick? What world does this guy live in?
Like Sledge's. What was Sledge's article
What?
about exploring the graveyard?
Pick a
city?
card.
Like,
Sludge's
that's-
article?
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's in-
one for.
It's in the.
No.
We're talking about different things, aren't we?
Maybe, but I
I've read
would say
all
they
of
fucks.
Sludge's articles. You don't want to quiz me here.
I think he's
Yeah.
talking about one of the library articles.
Yeah,
Yeah, it might be
it
AWL.
was the scavenger.
It's
hunt.
called
Is
Morgue City. Someone pull it
Isn't
up.
Rounderhouse an administrator at the Wander Library? Doesn't he know? He should know about this stuff. They're wanderers. They're nomadic. Sleeping in hostels, kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of dirty stuff goes down there. I mean, it's like strangers passing in the night. You might as well. So I would say they fuck.
It was Morgue City. That's right.
That's not a Sludge article.
Yes, it
yeah, it
is.
is.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's on the
Yeah.
Wanderer's library.
Oh, on Wanders. Oh, I thought you meant like an.
No, okay, hang on. In the chat, no.
Yeah, Morgue
not
City
just
Shuffle.
good
There it is.
pussy, you
That's
get
23.
good
That's really good for
food.
library.
Okay, good, whatever.
I
Maybe
haven't.
you're not
I
into
haven't
either of
read
that.
Sludge's Wanderers stuff, so you're right. I stand
You should
corrected.
do that. They're good.
I know.
Okay, hang on, wait. Let me. I see in the chat that I only said one.
Yeah, this
There's also
podcast is
Dick.
violently strayed. We're gonna have to bring some token
Yeah.
minority.
Wow, what a great phrase. It has violently strayed. Great job. Wow. See, that's what I'm a geek about. If you can put together a nice string of sentences, I mean, that's magic. That's like a magic trick right there.
He's on next
You get
episode.
good dick too.
They're already the
Good-
token
You
minority.
know, we're not.
Well,
It's
yeah,
all
we have
inclusive.
Great music.
Plague and me. We're both Italian, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you're
the most
Italian. I'm
oppressed
brown.
minority.
Jack is a white American, like Catholic.
yeah.
I'm not
so
actually
we're-
Catholic.
I don't know what ethnicity Rounderhouse is, but he's very white.
What?
No, I'm not a Catholic. Why
Are you
would you think I'm a
Protestant?
Catholic? No, I'm not a Protestant.
Gloria.
Why were you more offended at being called a Protestant?
Because I'm not either. I didn't. Do I come off as a Catholic?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah,
you just
I would
you just got really offended by being called a Protestant. That's kind of a Catholic thing to do, isn't it?
Jack, listen, I went to Catholic school, and you like literally, I could have went to school with you. Like that's.
No,
that's
I'm like
my-
non-denominational, like non-religious.
Okay, that's fair.
wow.
I'll accept that.
I think you're only non-denominational if you're religious. Otherwise, there's no need to make the specification there.
I went to a Jewish preschool.
Yeah, like that's why I thought you were Catholic. You were offended that I thought you were Protestant.
Yeah,
That's the
in
biggest
my-
argument being Catholic there is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
that's a Catholic thing.
In kindergarten, I would get locked in lockers. I would get shoved in lockers in kindergarten. And,
What does this have to do with being religious?
I'm telling you, this guy's like a constant, like self-incriminating, self-embarrassing, toe-curling kind of guest. I don't know what is he trying to make. I don't know, but I'll never read his articles the same. I'll tell you that. Wasn't it Are We Cool Yet? That was supposed to be like the people who were shoved in lockers getting back at the bully. Maybe he likes that one.
I
just a
one thing,
story.
I just remember.
Do they
now,
still have lockers? I don't know. I don't know if they have lockers anymore. I guess they do.
like when we were talking about being preschool and like kindergarten?
Okay.
All right.
So
the serpent's hand.
They're in the library, which I think
Okay.
is my specialization. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's-
say that. I would say that.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
They gotta fuck.
I'm trying to think of whether I should justify.
Maybe
what the library
second
has no
base
sex
because
rules
like
or
they're
not.
wanderers, you know, and they're the archivists. Is that what they're called? Like wandering, policing the library. So you got to be quiet in the library too. So that's not going to help that situation. So maybe second base.
I think
Wait,
I think you could fuck in the library because it's so big.
You got to be
infinite.
quiet though.
Yeah.
You could just walk in a random direction until nobody else
That's
is
like
around.
public shaming kink. Like
Yeah,
that's-
but you still gotta obey the
As
law.
you're quiet about it.
As you're quiet, not making
Law of
noise.
the
if you
land.
go far enough, you
Yes,
could be
people do
loud
live in the
about
library. People do live in the library. Gregory.
Yep.
they just have like a special spot where it's
it. I
just like
think.
they just have like explicit reading and they just like
I agree with Dagon on this one. You could totally fuck in the library, but it has to be educational.
Yeah.
Round
It's
So,
2 plus
well,
2.
there-
adult section in the Wanderers
It's like,
Library.
yeah, no one heard
I mean,
that.
isn't it?
I
that
mean,
every
I
book ever
expect
written?
I expect there has to be like just
It's
mechanically.
every book's ever written.
Yeah.
There's like an erotic like
Ding ding ding. We should have been
realm
keeping
in the
track of
Wanderers
how much we get right.
We're
That's what
getting
we should have
so
done.
fucking banned after this.
I think we get like a
100%.
I don't know, we
This
get like
is
a B?
very inappropriate.
B something
Yes.
like that.
So what are we going with? Serpent's Hand
why-
Fox.
Yes,
I
it fucks. I think it fucks. I said that in the beginning.
All right, so we're ready to move on. The
One
next
second.
one
Yes.
is Shark Punching Center, which is an unfunny joke that is
Incels.
played out.
Incels.
Yeah, they're in.
Incels.
No,
Okay.
I think that's
I agree
a
with
hog
this one.
slice situation. Listen, I think
No.
it's a hog slice thing where there's
Okay, so the Shark Punching Center is based on this, like, obviously it's a typo of the acronym, but the whole thing, you know, the one like really motto-esque pivotal thing about the Shark Punching Center is that the idea of a shark can be more dangerous than a shark itself, right? Or is that a completely different article? I don't know.
This is
focused
entertaining.
I was gonna say that if it's the fact that an idea can be just as more panicking than a shark, then I don't know what I'm talking about here. But I would say that maybe it has no need for physical sex because it's a concept. I don't know.
This
That's,
is not.
wait, no. They're not on the same level of
Fine,
comedy. I'm thinking from like a level of like their personalities, where the hog slice and the shark punch people are so focused on like being complete assholes to their specific like,
Assholes.
targets.
Yeah,
They're volunteer.
What if he's from the north?
celibate.
kind of
I
Yeah.
suppose there's an
You
argument for
can't get
that.
peeks its head
I
up a
don't
little
know. I
bit.
think I just can't get it. They're so unfunny that they just
Okay, see,
can't.
here's
You
my
and the
thing on that. I
asshole.
think that Plague
You and the
is
asshole.
right, but Dune is also right. I think that Plague, I think
Incel,
SPC
huh?
people think that they are voluntarily celibate, but like on some like deeper heart of hearts level, they know that if they did proposition someone, they would always get turned down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think incels.
God, that's deep. You know, also it's like, you know, they missed the acronym. That's why they're there. So maybe they like missed the opportunity. They missed the pickup line. They like they fumble the pickup line, you know. And it's like, hey, did I just fall down from heaven?
I just don't want to acknowledge the fact that like SCP or SPC would like do work, so I don't want to put them in the Volcel category.
Right? No.
That's a fair
They,
point.
they're
yeah.
not. Okay, I could get by with desperate, but nothing.
I'm
nothing
gonna
with
say incel.
Incel, put them in incel.
Sure.
Okay, we're reaching the last couple now.
Good,
Three
thank
Moons
God.
Initiative.
This is dragging
Someone
on just
explain
a
what the
little
Three
bit.
Moons Initiative is?
Yes,
They
I'll
are a
Who is that? Sorry, I missed
put
that.
them in incel.
Okay, we're reaching the last couple now. Three
Yeah.
Moons
We are.
Initiative.
The
Someone explain
what?
what the Three Moons
Oh,
Initiative
the
is?
Three Moons
Yes,
They
Initiative.
are a group of people dedicated to helping humanity. They're in some heaven-like dimension
Okay.
where it's run by the god of like a spider god or something,
Better not be any fucking there.
and they watch over humanity and make sure that they will make it into this heaven area called Corbinic.
Weird.
It's like
And
an
I have
FUI.
I have like complex thoughts on Three Moons Initiative because like when I
I'd
wasn't
love to hear him, man. That's really why I'm listening to this stuff. You know, believe it or not. I know the target demographic of this is not. They're interested in when you're next going to say the word, you know, dick or something like that. But I'd love to hear Rounderhouse's thoughts. I'm sure he's a fascinating thinker. He routinely flies circles around people in 05. So, you know, he's not dumb.
an author, and like when I didn't even have an account, I was just like reading the website, and like clicking the random article button and like seeing articles.
Yep.
Which I did for like 6 months, I swear.
I
And
believe you.
like, I read all of the Corbinic articles that were out at the time. I was like, this is so cool. I've never seen anything like this on the site. It doesn't have a hub. It doesn't have anything. It's just like randomly connected skips.
When they
that
say
are, like, super interesting.
Corbinic, I might be wrong here. I think I'm right in saying this though. They are talking about Jeff Corban. Here we go. Jeff Corwin, excuse me, Jeff Corwin. There he is. That's what they're talking about. Jeff Corbin. Oh, maybe it's this guy. Or maybe it's that guy. Or maybe it's this guy. Must be this guy. I can't remember. But anyway, there's Jeff Corwin, in case you forgot about that guy.
About this weird alternate dimension, and then I became an author, and then like 20 seconds later, I was like, wow, I don't give a shit about any of this.
I think it's cool. I think David Fool did
Weird.
a really good
It's
job
almost
with that.
like becoming an author is like an ascent. It's like an apotheosis. Is that right?
Is this
Yeah,
like?
I think
You
it's
think that's
good. I
like
just like
angels
it
and
It's
isn't.
funny because I became an author like because I wanted to bring the ideas with me into writing. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Interest me anymore.
Do you
But
think
this-
they fuck Angel in the afterlife?
No,
Well,
there's no
well,
angels. It's not like a Catholic
No,
afterlife,
this
you
is
guys.
I
a
know.
weird
Well,
dimension with like giant monkeys that like crush
Okay.
people,
Okay,
and
sorry.
like a giant god that eats people.
What if they
like
fuck
they're
It's a
at
war?
spider, right?
But like when you get there, you're in your physical body. So like,
Hmm.
I think the first article that mentioned them, it was like
Wait.
husband and wife thing.
I remember this
Mm.
now. There's a specifically like in the original Corbinic article, the
Corwin.
section where they go to like the palace of like the elephant god or whatever, and there's a gigantic orgy going on, which
Now there's an
automatically
elephant god? I don't know. I'm so confused.
yeah.
places them in the fuck category.
Yeah. But I think
Okay.
it's like I think this is human society. It's like basically a human society.
It's such a disjointed account of what this GOI actually is that I have no idea how to answer the how often they get it question. I have no clue what's happening here.
It's just a little bit more off in this weird world. Because the 3 moons are the 3 different Earths that got like transported there on accident. So
Wait, the 3 moons are Earths? This makes less and less sense the more I hear.
if this is human society, they are having lots of sex.
And
I
just to
also want to put
clarify,
a disclaimer as well that all these like just because Arcadia is like in the very top does not mean it's good. Like all these are just based off how they fuck, right? It's not like
yeah,
Okay.
this is
So they
in
put 'em in
any
the fuck
particular
category.
order.
Yeah.
That really makes fuck like in the lead by 1. It's hard to see this nobody down here at the bottom. But most GOIs fuck. I guess that's to be expected, you know. We're all humans, most of us. Most of these, I guess.
Yeah.
okay, cool.
But also to clarify, 3 Moons is a pet GOI, right? This is a
Yeah.
David Phil
This is the
exclusive.
Davy Phil joint.
Okay.
Dave, you fool. Let me just... What a fantastic author. What a fantastic author. He read one... He did one this week. And now's a good time as any to plug. Tomorrow night, we'll be doing this again, obviously, at 7:30 Central for about an hour. But I'm real excited because it's our first actual episode of the weekly review of the SCP articles that I've reformulated and that is going to work. It is going to work. And it's called The Weekend Collapsible. That's what that's called. And you know why. There you go. And we will mention an article by Dave U. Fool that is probably the best that I've read this week. In fact, it is the best. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It is the best I've read this week. And it will absolutely be the recommendation, the SCP recommendation this week on Saturday for our main show, SCP Meta.
I didn't know that because I never read it.
Okay. Well, I think we can put them in the fucks category.
They fuck.
I agree. If you said there's an orgy, I agree.
Thanks, Plague. I'm glad you trust me. Okay, UIU. This one's a toughie.
UIU.
Oh no.
That's
I
the
think-
FBI,
hang
right?
on. They're like
That's the FBI, right?
the STEM, no, I guess not really like they're kind of like the STEM major guys, but like law
It's the
enforcement
FBIs.
almost.
Yeah,
I would
They're not
say,
STEM agents. They're
FBI.
cops. They're
No,
cops.
no,
They're
I
literally
know.
Yeah,
cops.
I'm
FBI,
like in the same umbrella. They're not
Okay,
like.
their like whole
Cookout.
thing is that they're inept. Isn't that like the whole like
Yeah,
like, the
is it?
headcanon that
I
they're
think-
UI
Ooh.
useless. Yeah.
I mean, cause like, okay, the UIU they did like the foundation, like the Scantron 001 is a UIU format. I mean, it's not useless. I think I used the UIU one time in my article, and funny enough, there were two characters from the UIU, and one was a man, one was a woman. One was sort of religiously minded, and the other was scientifically minded. And does that remind you of anybody? And their agent names were just anagrams of Mulder and Scully. It was Drummel and something else. I can't remember.
I
They're
think
desperate. They're obviously desperate.
I think UIU fucked Bigfoot. That's my thesis.
Fuck.
Your Volcells. I would go with Volcells.
I think like
No, they're not voluntarily celibate. They,
CIA
they, like,
boys
want to have
hang
sex.
out.
They want to be those big tough guys.
Like, what is this guy
I,
looking
no, I agree
looking
that
for?
I think that the FBI's
Barbecue?
unusual incidents unit would like attract a lot of like tough
Is that what I
like
saw?
jock types, and
Yeah.
That's where your
they're
second
probably
base then.
they're gonna have like families at home, things like that. They're just normal, like capable, athletic people.
There it is.
I don't
I
think
found
it's,
it. Found
anything
it.
like
There we go.
the STEM majors that you were talking
Yeah,
about.
I think they're
I
normal
found it.
people,
Here
but
it
they're
is.
cops and they fuck Bigfoot. So that I think I would put them in the desperate category. That I can't say they're incels because they did fuck Bigfoot, but I can't say that
FBI.
they're, like,
These are
actually, like,
UIU right
normal
here.
either.
Yeah,
And I
they're
don't
like-
want to I don't want to
We have
confuse
to take
the
into
FBI
account that they
and
are
the
known as the inept GOI who needs help.
Yeah.
They
Okay, yeah,
suck.
desperate.
They're like
Yep.
their whole thing is that they're bad.
I'm so
Desperate.
proud that I found that meme.
I'll concede with desperate.
So
but,
much
like, I don't
anger
wanna-
towards.
Yeah, they're totally like, they're just a big sausage party. Like, no offense, you know. Yeah, I think desperate is fair. I think it's
STEM
totally
majors
fair.
in this podcast. Thanks, Gregory.
Fuck STEM
just-
majors.
I just want to shit on them because like that's like 90% of our audience.
Yeah. Honestly, I like UIU, but only because I really like X-Files vibes on stuff.
I
See?
think they're cool. I think
Jake Hectus had that really good article with the train.
I don't remember that one. Oh wait, yes I do. 2610. That one's good. That one's one of my favorites.
was it is the train?
It wasn't
It was like a
about a
train-
train. The
Was
train
it an
train
accurate?
chase.
Was it an accurate portrayal of a train on the SCP Wiki?
Yes, it was an accurate
Oh, yeah,
portrayal of a
it
train.
It was an accurate portrayal.
First
Yes,
one
yeah,
ever.
yeah.
Okay, just making sure, because as we all know, this wiki has like a bit of a history with inaccuracies and railroads. It's,
It
it's
does?
a big fucking.
That and chiropractors.
Bad
Chiropractor.
representation. Yes,
What
bad
was
word for
that? What was it?
chiropractors.
What was that one guy who would go around and like totally
What?
just shit on people who were like trained skips or whatever, and they would just
That
totally
was
just.
the Gone Rounders article. He's like,
There was only one
SCP
guy. That's
Wiki.
the only comment he ever made. It's a mystery to me. What was he doing?
He made a comment on mine too. I thought.
The
no,
fuck?
What about a train?
This
And
is fantastic.
maybe
train
it was
guy.
on Reddit. Maybe it wasn't on. There was like
Wait,
a guy
no,
going
Jack.
on.
Jack, you got a compliment on yours, right? Because they said you wrote the train right.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I was told that I wrote the wrong train, like in the wrong, like the train
the
that
fuck
I
are they
had
talking
on the
about?
picture was from like New England, and I was writing about in like like America, like United States.
Oh, well, I guess you wrote the train wrong then.
Well, no, and then
Idiot.
they said that it was okay,
Stupid.
everything else was fine, and that they could like, it was like whatever. But I know this guy was like going on Reddit and was like just totally shitting on all these articles with trains and like going through and like just.
Who's gonna win? So it's either gonna be fucks. We got two left. So it's either gonna be desperate has a chance to win. You know, if they get the next two, then desperate wins. If fucks gets at least one more, they are guaranteed to win, right? Because they can get one, and then of course the next runner-up can only be one behind them. Incel has a chance to take the lead and keep it if they get both. And other than that, other than desperate, incel, or fucks, there's just ties. So the Volcel could tie. Incel could win. Yeah. Desperate. Jack's not going to go anywhere. And the rest aren't going to go anywhere. So really, in the running, it's fucks, desperate, and then incel. And Volcel, I guess, too.
Like saying how unbelievable it was that people would write it like this, and no one knows shit about trains, and
We'll have him
I
on.
missed all
I think
this. Apparently, there's a train aficionado, a train expert, who went around critiquing trains on the SCP Wiki and articles that use trains. And I missed all that, but I would have absolutely loved that. In fact, yeah, I think we need more people like that who are specialized in this and in that. They used to have like a specialty list on the SCP Wiki, SCP expert list, like expert witness, an index of expertise. They basically decommissioned the page, but it used to have like a bunch of people on it. It would show other like in real life jobs and stuff. Spike Brennan, for example, was a lawyer. So you could go to him if you had any questions about legal stuff in the midst of writing your SCP. No one ever utilized it, and so it eventually kind of became like a pseudo doxing hub, and so or mechanism. So they got rid of it. But I would have loved to have seen whoever this guy was, his name up there or their name up there as train expert. I would have loved that.
The train
It's
guy
a real missed opportunity.
guest episode would be good.
We'll track him down.
To get him on.
We'll track
That'd be
him
great.
down.
It'd be great.
So where are we putting UIU?
I think desperate.
Desperate.
It's fair. It's fair.
All right. Next
We have
up.
2 more.
2 more. Who's gonna
Wandsman
win?
And then,
Oh man,
Wandsman is incel.
I love it.
I'm
It's
just
like the
noting that one.
fourth quarter, of a football game, and you kind of like all the possibilities start to coalesce, and it's just which one's it gonna be?
Wandsman is
Incel.
incel. Wandsman sucks.
is because no one knows.
Okay, well, Gregory Wandsman is on the page, and I have 20 minutes to set this up, so.
yeah, Wandsman is incel. There's no discussion.
Yeah,
Who
there's
is this?
literally no argument here. Wandsman is incel.
Andrew Neat
Who?
was not on the groups of
No
He's on the page, and I have 20
Wandsman is
minutes.
incel.
Wandsman and then
Wandsman is incel. I'm just noting that.
Who the hell
Wandsman
is
is
Wandsman?
Wandsman
is because no one knows.
Okay, well, Gregory Wandsman is on the
Wandsman.
page, and I have 20 minutes to
Oh
set
my
this up,
gosh,
so.
this is a
Yeah,
hub.
Wandsman is incel. There's no discussion.
The
Yeah,
fuck
there's
is this?
literally no argument here. Wandsman is incel.
Andrew Neat was
People.
not on the groups of interest page. You need to fix that.
Yeah. You have more than enough articles for it.
Yeah, we
No,
like
it's going to be covered in mine.
I like the hub.
Someone, I'm making one. I'm making one where they fuck.
I'm also
Uh-oh, the music ended, so I guess I'll just have to turn mine up. I enjoyed their jazz.
making one where they fuck, so we're going to have to deal with that.
We're gonna,
Oh,
yeah.
it's back.
There's gonna be
articles about fucking. This is so dumb.
Wait, we need to explain what Wandsman. Wandsman are like
What the hell Wandsman
interdimensional, like news reporters.
Okay.
They made fun of the Wanderers
Do
library.
we even have to
Yeah,
explain what the
that's
Wandsmen are? No one
like-
cares.
I love
They
them.
suck.
I love them already.
God, we're being mean.
They're in the bad category with
We are.
with
It's okay to be mean because, it makes people stronger. Like it gives people thick skin. Who's Chaucer 345? Nobody knows. This GOI was made in the 7th of April 2021, so it hasn't been around a long time. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and just knock it out.
Herman Fuller.
Okay, so the one that's left is Wilson's Wildlife Solutions. This is going to be really interesting to talk about, or to hear them talk about, I'm sure. But so basically we have a tie right now between Fucks and Incel. So of course only one of those can win by this point. They can end up tying if someone else takes the spot. But given that it'll go to either one of those two, we will have a definitive winner. So please feel free to let me know who you think this is going to be. Wilson's Wildlife, to me, is probably... God. They're certainly not fucks, okay? They are certainly not fucks. Let's not even go there. I think they would have to be either Incel or Jack. So I think Incel is going to win, and so I don't want to jump the gun. Let's see.
They're in the Herman Fuller subset of losers.
See, it's about to happen. It's about to
This is
happen.
Wildlife Solutions. We already established that they're incel. Let's just move on.
No, they're not.
Wilson.
Oh, a twist. I thought it was a done deal.
I'm talking about the Wandsman. I'm saying let's move on. Like we've already said.
Yeah, Wandsman is incel, inarguably.
Wilson
Okay,
is Sigma 9. I think he's
yes,
Sigma
I would
9.
agree. Okay,
What?
I think he may also
No,
like.
No.
No, Jack.
Shut
It's bad. Shut up, Jack.
you don't slander Tim Wilson.
Yeah,
like that,
don't.
okay?
Yeah, shut up, Jack. No, even the chat is mad at you.
I'm just talking about Tim.
What the
I
fuck
know,
just
shut up.
happened?
Yeah, you don't slander Tim Wilson. He's a good man.
What the fuck?
What
He
the
tries
fuck just
his
happened?
Okay, I just. Yeah, like,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Jack,
there's
shut
only one thing that could have possibly been so egregious as to bleep, and it was the one thing I was kind of afraid that would be mentioned here. So, yikes.
up.
I mean, you got, oh god, guys, did you see that coming from a mile away? Like, whoever said that, was it the same guy who's been shooting himself in the foot this whole time? Who's been making gaff after gaff? Is it that guy? It's like I don't know if you've ever been in a situation before, but like everybody knows that one thing to not say, and then like somebody just Leroy Jenkins their way into there. I think it just happened.
in like canonically, I think the whole thing is that Faye Wilson is Tim Wilson's daughter, right? Which automatically, at least, is fucked. But I would
Okay.
also elevate Wilson's Wildlife Solutions to Sigma 9 male because he's like,
too.
yeah, he's like, he's out there. He's volunteering his time. He's helping the animals. You know, he's a stand-up guy. He's a real
Those are
Chad.
points. Yeah, those are points.
I take
It's
Sigma 9.
also
I don't get
like
it.
a big element of those articles is that Wilson is constantly at ends with like the world itself. Like he's low budget, like they're constantly trying to
Yeah,
like,
he's a
renovate
fighter.
themselves. Yeah, he's a guy that is willing
He's a
to
real
like
masochist.
what he believes in.
Stop
Just
saying
Chad.
masochist.
Or
He's
I
a-
like
whatever
him.
it is.
I like that guy.
Okay, that's the last one.
Okay,
There
so
we are.
we ended up with a tie. That was kind of an unexpected thing. I didn't think that Wilson's Wildlife would be top tier there. I think that one was really thinly justified, to be quite honest. I think that was sort of cobbled together very quickly, probably to end the cast on
They do
time.
Vikander need.
Okay, yeah, we need to do Vikander need. We're
Vikander fucks.
no,
Oh,
not
that's so
yet.
sad.
Not
So
yet.
sad for
So
him.
they had to ex post facto jerry rig in the GOI of Grigory Karpin, which is like this anomalous entertainment medium thing, which is like barely a GOI. I guess it's like a GOI, like half a GOI, and then it gets an extra quarter, half of a half, because it's got a Twitter page dedicated to it that he shares stuff from. So I hate that because I don't know, man. Like, it's like how. At what point are you just taking elements of articles that like are widespread and well decentralized and don't really have a deeper thematic connective tissue, and then make a GOI out of them? Like, for example, I can't help but think of one of the articles I wrote where there's like a media gallery and there's a ton of like anomalous-esque sort of, highly like hyper processed images and pictures and things like that. So I don't know if that alone is justification enough to have a whole GOI over it.
They
They
will.
don't
In,
have.
in
They don't
like
have
2
any
weeks,
physical
they will.
form. They don't have
I
any
think there's no physical
form.
need. Yeah, I think it's no physical
Yeah,
need.
definitely no physical need.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well,
would,
that doesn't
I would
change
kinda argue
anything,
that
so-
has reached second base, but I'll go with no.
All right, well, that was fun. Let's see how they wrap this up,
We'll just imagine they're there.
and then we'll be done with
Okay,
this
perfect.
series.
We got
Good
it.
job,
Good.
guys.
It's been good.
So, 15 minutes left.
A nice
Should
a nice 3 episoder. I think that's fair. That's good.
we go through and
Was it Dr. Gears was 12 episodes? Whew, man, that was a banger.
discuss
Certified
anything.
banger.
The chat wanted us to
Data.
discuss
I think
anything.
I wanted Jack to do a dramatic reading of Big Dick Chappelle.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Let's pull
Oh
that
God,
up.
what if we expanded this to international GOIs?
Oh my god.
I don't think y'all would know anything about the international GOIs.
I don't know any of
So
these.
many.
3-hour runtime.
Yeah.
We'd have to research them first.
Okay, what about we can do it as a lightning round. We can do it as a lightning round.
Like 2 or 3 VKTM or Vikander need articles.
We can do it as a lightning round. Can someone link the international GOIs list?
Please don't do it.
In the no mic.
Okay, wait,
One of
so
our
what-
dear listeners. Do the light. Don't.
the
there it is.
list- Okay.
Skip ahead.
Infamous on his estate and placed in containment. Due to Chappelle's increasing age, the
He's reading
infamous Chicago spirit leader Richard Chappelle, SCP-046 ARC, infamous Chicago spirit leader Richard Chappelle, was detained by the Foundation in 1933 after a raid on his estate and placed.
Okay, so I think they're just reading an article.
And fuck their milk.
Fucking gabagool.
The
Gabagool.
I went to the Soup's Kitchen the other day.
Is the rest? I insist.
Don't talk about it.
No, now I'm
What are you
interested. What are you
talking
referring
about?
to? What are you referring to?
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna call it there. We got through the actual, the actual entree, and what's left are just scraps on the page. So we will call that a night and a series. Always feels good to end a series. What are we gonna do next? Obviously open to suggestions, but I have a very long list of things to listen to. Let me pull that out just so that we can kind of tease that together. What could we be looking at? So whatever we do will be next week, because tomorrow is Friday, and that is our the weekend collapsible, and we will talk about every single one of the SCP articles that made it onto the SCP Wiki this week. And if you're curious how the hell I'm going to do that tomorrow, which I don't blame you for being curious about, because if you may recall that last week I read individual articles every night, trying to keep up on the stream live, and it did not work very well at all. It was misery, absolute misery. So I did find a way to make it work, and we are going to have a good time with that. So just tune in tomorrow, same time. Same place, of course, to see how that's going to work. I got a little bit of help from AI. Okay, that's just a teaser. So here's my list of reaction vid topics. SCP music. So Scantron, Communism Will Win, makes noise art. So we'll maybe listen to some of that and see what's up. There's a few podcasts that I like to listen to episodes of. SC People, Simply Creative People, again. What's another one? The Secure Contain podcast is another one. Site 42, which is the Sherm, who I just learned a whole lot about, actually. They do a podcast that I'd like to check out. Obviously, Sean Saxon is going to be something we return to over and over. Really what I'm eager about the most, I would say. Site 42 Fanworks is what we'll look at as well. Those are just like readings, 5-minute readings. Dr. Sumerian, I'd like to do a few of his YouTube videos. Fan films, because they're all over the place. And at some point, I'm really dreading this. I'm not sure. I'll probably have to get medicated or somehow before we do this, but I think it would be entertaining, not educational, certainly not worth our while, to go through the SCP official TikTok and just kind of look at things, whatever they have up there, and just we'll probably have a cringe counter over in the corner or something like that. Same with other people's TikToks. I think that might be maybe a little too aggressive and invasive, but certainly the SCP Wiki official TikTok would be fun. And then I recently came into the understanding that there are a few people from the SCP Wiki who actually stream, authors who stream here on Twitch. And if I thought that reading other people's SCPs every night was incredibly boring for an hour and so not worth it, that it's just, it's someone's hell. Someone's hell is to just read SCP articles out loud as they come in to the SCP Wiki. There's one author who does a stream on Twitch here who read their own article for 3 hours. So we're not going to listen to that, but we may dip in for just a random sample just to see what's up. That might be fun. So may even make a series out of it, given that it's 3 hours long. All right, so just a little tease, but tomorrow I'm really excited about this redo, take 2, redux of the weekly review called The Weekend Collapsible. So check it out. I'll see you here tomorrow night, 7:30. This has been Lack of Lepers, also known as SCPCRNP. I had a great time hanging out with you. Please come back again and join the chat. Share the link, and have a great night. Thank you so much.